Okay.
So, yeah, you guys grab it in. All right, guys. Well, we're here at Crandon International Off-Road Raceway for the rounds 3 and 4 of the Champ Off-Road season. First question I want to ask Brody then is, now that we've kind of started the season, it seemed like KGB was kind of the main guy for Pro-Lite. It was really competitive with Brock 2 years ago and last year won the championship. You've kind of seemed to have taken Brock's place as far as his competitor. Do you feel that you're going to be competing that much later on the rest of the season, kind of like Brock did?
Yeah, I mean, we had a good first round at Anago with a third the first day and then a first, second day. So I think we got some good speed. The truck's feeling pretty good. I'm just trying to keep with the momentum and stay consistent this year. I think we should give him a good run, but yeah, it should be fun.
What kind of experience do you think you're going to be able to bring that KGB kind of already has? Like, what are you going to be able to kind of, I guess, bring from other than just saying, you got really good speed?
Yeah, I mean, Kyle's got a lot of experience, but I've been really focusing on my flaws the past season and especially this off season, trying to dial in the truck and get everything going. Last year was my first year, so just kind of getting comfortable. And then this year I'm really going to be, we've kind of got the truck dialed a lot better, and I'm feeling pretty comfortable. And not only that, but like just trying to progress over the off season and really watch video and learn what we need to work on and put that onto the track. So.
Well, then I got a question for Travis then. At MAO in the first race of the year, when it was CJ and KGB on the track, I thought you did a really good job of kind of holding off CJ and kind of putting yourself up in that group of those three guys when they were battling. At Andigo, it kind of was a different story. Now that you're in a Pro2, is that kind of affecting things in the Pro-Lite where your concentration is trying to get down a Pro2 and a Pro-Lite, seeing as how you kind of do really good at the Pro-Lite, or what's kind of been the, I guess, difference then from the first race and then Andigo?
It's hard to say. I mean, MOA went good, but we had a few problems, so after that we went and put those away, figured it out, and then did some testing. But we feel good in both the trucks. I mean, it's hard to say. We're hoping to do good this weekend. We figured out some more problems with the truck and making it faster, so we're feeling good in both the trucks. I mean, the Pro2's fun. We're just trying to stay more consistent in the Pro-Lite and hopefully bring home a podium.
So I know that plenty of people here have gone from Pro-Lite to Pro2. After kind of seeing that difference, do you plan on running a Pro-Lite? I know this is a year away question, but in feeling the difference between Pro-Lite and Pro2, do you plan on going back to the Pro-Lite next year and just making Pro2 a full-time priority, or do you plan on doing double duty?
I mean, it depends on how we finish the season off with Pro-Lite and Pro2. I mean, we're feeling strong in both the classes, but we're trying to put away a championship in Pro-Lite, but it all depends. I guess we'll see with sponsorship and stuff.
And then for both of you, eventually you can answer this question, but what are your thoughts then on them going to not the short track, but kind of cutting off the long track where they're making it, I guess, a medium track? What are your guys' thoughts on that? Have you guys even got a chance to kind of test that out at all, or is that going to be your first test tomorrow?
It's going to be a first test tomorrow for me. I mean, I like the long track, but I guess I'll see how this track goes. I mean, we might have to do some gearing after practice, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take some time to get the truck dialed in a little bit. We came and tested here before Anago and kind of felt the new layout. We were one of the first ones, so I feel pretty good. I think with the track being a little bit shorter, it kind of brings the racing in a little bit tighter. Those back couple straightaways really kind of stretch it out. The people that are really fast, the front pack usually kind of, at least from my experience last year, they would spread out a little bit. So I think with us cutting in between, it's gonna bring the racing a little closer. So I'm excited. Should be fun.
I guess my last question then, if people want to kind of chime in after this, is kind of with the schedule, since KGB is kind of the main guy in Pro-Lite, do you think that crazy schedule is going to start to affect him the rest of the season? You think maybe later on at, Bark River, Fall Crandon, Jay, Oklahoma, you think he's going to start getting tired, like mentally, physically, whatever it may be, and there's an opportunity for you to slip in there? Or do you guys think like he's just, I was going to say the F word, or is he a machine?
I mean, I think they got a pretty good program going going on over there. So I think they're not really too worried about it. Obviously, with the races being so tight, it's a lot of prep, and sometimes we're not perfect, right? So sometimes we miss stuff. So there's a potential for something to happen. I would say as far as mechanical, him personally though, I don't think he'll get physically or mentally tired from it. But it is a lot of racing, that's for sure. But I think they'll be just fine. It's definitely a whole different deal going from racing one weekend and then going and doing a different series, racing that, just all the setup changes and everything, that kind of deal. So I think they should be all right, but yeah, it might throw a curveball in there for sure.
Yeah, he's got a good program going on over there, and I mean, he's fast. I guess it's just we'll have to see what he can pull through. I mean, he's running. It's like a full-time job going back and forth and doing all the prep and making sure the trucks are 100%. But I guess we'll just have to see on what he can do. I see this weekend.
You guys got any questions you want to throw their way?
Clint Perry?
How did you manage to throw a drive shaft with the yoke and pinion still attached?
Oh, we came down on that jump under power a little bit, and it just gone.
All right. I got one last question then. Controversial question. Why do you think Holter took out KGB? I'm just kidding. I mean, you can answer if you want.
I think it was no.
No, I guess in my opinion, it was like it's just blue groove. It's tough to stop. It's just a whole racing incident thing. So.
I mean, too, like I did watch it a little bit. So when he's coming up the hill and he's putting it on the bottom, so the speeds are a lot slower on the bottom, and then I think John just came in there with a lot more momentum and then just took him around. I'm not going to say it was intentional or anything, but it definitely it's happened before. I've done it. I think we've all, maybe not everyone, but we've all done it at some point. Someone slows up a little bit and you don't expect it, and then you kind of tap them around and finish them off. But that's all I got.
I mean, I watched it. I mean, never know.
I guess the only question I got then is I don't know if you guys check the weather, what it's going to be this weekend. Is there anything that you guys do like different from Saturday to Sunday, depending on that weather? Prep wise,
Go for it.
Racing wise.
Well, I mean, if it does end up raining, we did do some different stuff with the tires, so we're ready for whatever the weather brings.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Like, we don't really mess with gearing too much, I think, when the rain comes. I think mainly just tires, just trying to figure out the tire situation, get enough grip out there. Obviously, like, vision's pretty rough when it's raining, so trying to get all that figured out is, I think, the main priority. But other than that, it's just tires for the most part.
Okay. I think we're good then. So,
All right,
thanks,
sweet.
guys.
Thank you, guys.
But okay, I guess I'll just kind of start questions then for Ricky. So with the start of the season, with how it's gone, Andy Go's kind of had a similar story for you, where last year, I mean, again, the whole thing with Keegan, and then this year the whole thing with Corey. Do you think that's just a crazy coincidence with Andy Go being such a tight track? Because after that, you seem to have been fine, but it just kind of seems to be maybe an Andy Go thing.
I mean, I think so. I just look at it as like kind of a racing thing. I'm not out there to attack people and take them out, I just think that was like a heat of the moment thing for me and Corey. I mean, we obviously made contact from the halfway caution to pretty much the last 3 laps. We were making contact, and I'm not, I'm just trying to move on from that. It's, my main focus wasn't to go and, take him out of the race, but I don't know, he came in and spun me out and stuff, and he left the door open going into the last corner, so I peeked in there and just moved him out of the way a little bit. It wasn't anything really intentional, trying to not take him out of the race, but I don't know. I'm just moving on from it, and I'm sure he's moving on too. I don't have anything against him, and yeah, I'm not out there to race people dirty. I'm just moving on from it. I think Anago is just such a small track. It's like a big bull ring and you put a 20 or 16 Pro2s on there, obviously there's going to be contact made. Me and Ryan made contact a couple times, but it was all fair game. He actually let me by. He came into turn one, hit me pretty hard, and he let me by. That was pretty cool. But we're all racing hard, and we're all racing to try to win. So I think it's just one of those deals. It's just you kind of have to move on from it.
Yeah. Like you said, as far as like moving on from it, then is that at all in the back of your mind here? Where like if come Crandon again, near him at all? We're just like, shit. Like I gotta tiptoe around him, or is it just kind of back to business as usual? Because I mean, again, you've shown plenty of speed and plenty of talent out there. So
yeah, no, I'm not too worried about it. I'm just moving on from it. You know, it's a part of the sport is like there's so many ups and downs, and if you just live on the downs, like you're never going to succeed. So you kind of have to work on moving on, and I've struggled with that, but I feel like I've been getting better at it. So we're just, you know, we came here and tested, and I think we have a good truck for the weekend. So we're going to go out there and just, I don't know, try to win, just like every other truck out there.
Next question then is for Ryan. So last year, you and Keegan kind of had a similar season where it just was like bad luck. Just bad things kept happening, bad luck, whatever it may be, and you turn that around at Andigo. And you and Keegan, ironically, had the same mentality this year. You're kind of getting back to having fun, enjoying yourself. And you seem to have had that work where you got to win at Crandon.
Yeah, no, exactly. Obviously, like in racing, like Ricky talked about, there's so many ups and downs, right? And we've all experienced them. You know, some years you have good years, some years you have bad years. And just last year was just one of those years that everything I did, everything I touched turned bad. So it was just a bad year. We had to kind of regroup, refocus this year, going into this year, and focus on having fun, focus more on myself, you know what I mean, and me having fun again. So, you know, I think that was a big change, is just focusing on myself and my program and having fun, because at the end of the day, none of this other stuff happens. Ryan Beat Motorsports doesn't happen unless Ryan Beat performs. So, truthfully, that's kind of where it stands, and just wanted to have fun. You know, we're racing off-road trucks for a living, or at least I am. So, I get to enjoy it, and I truly thank God every day I wake up and get to have fun with it, you know. So just enjoying it, have fun, and realize that, right, our sport is cool and it's big, but it's not the end all be all, right? At the end of the day, we're all human. We're all out here trying to have fun, and that's what it's about.
I guess just kind of piggybacking off of that, like you said, you're enjoying yourself a little bit more. You've lost weight. Any weight tips that you can float my way?
Honestly, I just quit eating fast food and started exercising, believe it or not. No, I've been riding my dirt bike a lot. And then I've been having a lot of fun in the micro sprint. Sheldon Creed talked me into getting one of those, so been driving that a lot and having a lot of fun, and just, like I said, trying to enjoy life.
Next question I got is for Dave then. So last year you ran Pro2 full time.
Yep.
And then this year you came out and announced that you're running with Honda in the Pro Stock, and that you're only going to be running Crandon in the Pro2. It was a topic conversation we had in the podcast last week about just how tough it's getting to kind of run it full time. What was kind of the decision on why? Was it a Honda deal that made you go full time with that, and then just kind of sway away from the Pro2 thing, or was it just the expenses of Pro2 that you're like, this isn't a sustainable thing?
So there are a lot of factors that went into the decision to not run the Pro2 full season. Basically, you know, we're opening a new metal shop for our construction company back Tri-State General Contractors in California. Most of our guys that work in that shop also crew on my race car. We have Seth Walters and Steve Barlow, among others, and they're crazy busy over there building that portion of our business. So that was like a big factor. The other thing was this Honda opportunity came along with Jamie at Raceco Honda, and we really want to focus on that big time. So for me, I'm living out here all summer long with my wife, Taylor. And we're having a great time out here, but really, you know, just we don't want to kind of take away from the things we need to focus on, get the Honda program off the ground, and then keep our employees like super busy back home. So there's a lot to it, you know, like the cost aspect, like you said, that definitely plays a part. You know, at this point, we're really lining things up to hit it hard next year. We're talking to truck builders, potentially to build us a new truck for next season, get some testing done and really hit it. We just didn't really feel like we have necessarily the truck to go dominate this season and be where we need to be to go contend. So, there's a lot of factors. I'm very blessed to have eBay Motors on board, and so, they help us in a lot of ways. They're on board with the Honda program too. So, budget definitely is always a factor, but really it just come down to a bunch of things.
Okay. I've got a question then for Travis then. Now that you've jumped in Pro2, you've got champions to your left. Are you scared?
I mean, not really. It's just go out there, have fun. But I'm just trying to get my feet wet and see what I can do and see if I can compete in this class. And so far, I'm having fun and I'm liking the Pro2 more than the Pro-Lite so far.
Not hard to believe.
Yeah. Easy.
One of the last questions I got before anyone else wants to kind of jump in is kind of question, I guess, for all of you. It's just a general question. They're doing the medium track, I call it, because it's a short track. And what are your thoughts on it, kind of doing it, the medium track for the full week, but then they're doing the long track for the cup race? How do you think they're going to be able to kind of calculate out that time? And then is that going to even be something that's worth it then in the cup race if they're doing one race on the long track? Are they going to be able to get that timing right?
No way.
It's hard, yeah.
Should we just
Anyone can answer, yeah, all four of you guys.
Yeah, I don't know about the whole cup race thing, how they're going to do that, to be honest. But I think the short tracks, I think it's cool. I think it's fun. I mean, it definitely it's going to tighten up the racing. There's some things I would have changed about that turn, but we're all going to be going out there racing on the same track. It's a lot more open than Anago, so we'll be able to drive, with a lot more respect out there. And I think it'd be fun. It's just another curveball. You throw out your program and you got it. I mean, especially like we're running a different gear for this track, and then now for the long track for Sunday's race, we're gonna have to go back at it and probably change another gear and try a new ratio and stuff. So it'll be fun. It's always fun trying new things and playing around with truck setup and gearing and stuff. That's all part of it.
Yeah, I've been surprised. There's like a lot of controversy with this medium track. There's like a bunch of old guys and they're like, I can't believe they took away Cowboy Corner. That's like the best turn. But on the other hand, nobody sees it from the grandstands or the grass or anything. So I see both sides. I'm glad they're kind of changing it up a little bit because having 2 weekends on an identical track is a little bit boring. I like having the different aspect, like you said, with changing gearing from race to race and, the Pro2 race to the Cup race. We're all needing to adapt. We have some historical data to go off for gearing, so we all have to deal with these same curveballs. But I like them shaking it up personally, instead of the same old.
Yeah, I personally think it's a good idea, and kudos to them. I think, the end goal of them is to try to get the track short enough where they could race under lights for a nighttime race. So with that, I think that's where we kind of need to move. We need some night racing. We need to mix it up like these guys are saying. I wish they would have added some big jumps because the big jumps is, what the cool factor. Let's show how cool these trucks really are, let's show what these trucks can really do. So big jumps would have been cool, but hey, it's a change. It's a step in the right direction and mixing it up, you know what I mean? Any type of change that we do, we saw it at Anago, turn the track around backwards and it made for a bunch of exciting racing. So hopefully this does the same. Hopefully we have a bunch of good racing and can mix it up.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see how it goes. We're hoping for a good one, but we'll have to see until we get to practice. We're hoping we don't have to change much, but I'm excited to try out the new track and see what we can do, be more competitive with it all crunched together more, but I'm excited for it. And then once hit the cup race, we're hoping to do some little different gearing changes and some other things for the Crandon track.
Can I add something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, well, I think the cool thing is, too, is like what Ryan said. These guys, they're trying, like it's hands down to Cliff Flannery and all these guys. They're trying to make the racing exciting and more fun for us and the fans. So I think it's going to be great. I just wanted to give them a shout out. Because they're really trying. It's hard. This track's really known for like the high speed, that back straightaway, the high speed, Cowboy Corner, and all that stuff. And for them to make this like track change is, you got some huevos, some big balls for doing that. I think it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I'm going to add on that too because, like, you know, you look at most of these tracks we race at, they've been the same for 15 years, you know what I mean? So it's kind of getting stagnant, you know what I mean? So kudos to Cliff and everybody here for mixing things up and changing the track and you know, like Ricky said, having the guts to do it, you know, and to go out and make big swing changes like they did. So it's going to be exciting. I think the fans should really enjoy, you know, that the new corner or the, you know, shorter section, I think is going to keep the racing closer, like, you know, Travis said. So, you know, I really excited to go back and watch after this weekend and obviously get to race it.
You think Pro2 is going to win the Cup race?
No.
Well, it's raining. That's a big deal.
Exactly.
So, I mean, the Pro4s are, you know, like you saw last year, Mickey had a huge lead, and then as soon as it started raining, you know, his truck's slipping up, and they just put on the mic. But yeah, you asked if the Pro2 or Pro4 would win the Cup race. If it's raining on Sunday, like it's forecasted to, I think the Pro4s have it hands down, unless they give us like a 10-minute head start or something.
Gifted to the Pro4s, per usual.
Yeah, but like you said, you know, how do they figure out that timing, you know, to make it fair on either side? Either Pro2 is going to be way ahead or, you know, way behind. So I think that's going to be a challenge of how they, you know, really figure lap times based on that. If we're not running the long track at all the whole weekend, how do they determine that? You know what I mean? Because that back section will be a big change for a Pro4 pulling up out of, you know, Argonne to up the hills. That's a big time difference right there that they're going to have, you know, on the Pro2.
Great. Well, no one's got any questions then. Thank you, gentlemen, for giving us your time.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks for what you guys do.
All right.
Appreciate it.
If
Thanks for having us.
Fortunately, you know, Kyle Duke is out for the season. Johnny Greaves out at Antigo, out at Crandon, potentially out at ERX, maybe back at Lena. And as a fan, Scotty's out. As a fan, we're kind of, I guess, looking at you three now. I don't want to say newcomers, but you guys within the last 4 years have stepped into the Pro4 class, and now you three are now competing with CJ. I guess what's kind of like that feeling like? I mean, I know you guys have gotten the Pro4 down, but all eyes are kind of on you guys to bring the battle in Pro4.
It's kind of cool. You know, you look at Kyle, Johnny, all these boys the last couple of years, it's always been a monster show, you know, with Kyle, Greaves, everybody else. It's kind of cool, you know, we got us three guys up there mixing it up with them now. And I think that's showing where short course is going. Is it's always been the same people in Pro4. Well, now we're here. You know what I mean? That shows that the class is growing. Car count, don't get me wrong, is down, but we lost 2 or 3 of them at Antigo. That was a rough deal. So I'm excited. You know, we got even KG, Kyle Greaves and Johnny's truck this weekend. That's gonna be cool. So it's growing. You know, we got new faces, new talent. And it's just going to be cool kind of to see the Pro4 class grow. I know everybody looks at the car count, but if you look at the talent behind the field, that's where it gets stacked up. So it should be a good weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to totally lose you on the
I'm sorry. It's a Pro4 thing. Do we break stuff?
Yeah. This is what we do.
Did it click in?
As soon as we show up, we just start breaking.
All right, yeah.
You want to see if it's actually...
You want to test it? So you can
Test.
Yeah, it's working still.
Just like Antigo, we can't make it.
Can't even make it after the second quarter. But no, I think it's going to be great. I think, you know, this is kind of going to be, you know, another learning year if we can keep our shit together and stay on the track and, you know, learn from CJ, you know, actually be able to run with them and learn from him. I think next year, once we get more trucks, then it's going to be game on for sure. I think, you know, this year, you know, we definitely got what it takes to stay up with them. But I think it's more of a learning year. You know, I think, you know, try not to overdrive the trucks and finish races. And I think that's going to be huge and going for championships for, you know, the next 5-10 years.
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to give some love out to Kyle Duke, a legend, and one of the reasons Pro4 is still a thing, you know. And it's kind of sad because the two guys that helped build Pro4 to what it is are not here this year. So prayers out to both of them. Get healthy and get back on the track. You know, hopefully it's not either one of them. They're not done. So be good to see what happens there. But as far as the opportunity to be able to compete with CJ, I mean, we've been competitive in the past, and CJ's just got that, he's got that thing, and this is a good year. Like they were saying, it's a good year for us to be able to get out there and learn, because it is a limited field. But I do think that all three of us up here, and maybe Kyle in the future, Kyle's a talented driver. He's got some potential. He just needs time in the truck. But not Kyle Cheney, Kyle Greaves. But he just needs some time in the truck, and I think he'll add something to the field. Last time he was like thrown in, had no idea what was going on. So maybe this time it like adds a little talent. But if you look at Anago, before I flipped, because I didn't see much after that, but before that, all four of us were, just throw a blanket over us. And if we can put on a show like that for the rest of the year, I think we can do our job and come out here and entertain and compete for wins and, mix it up a little bit. So hopefully we can keep our trucks together and be cool. It's the one thing CJ kind of has on us is maybe not always the speed, but that ability to kind of finesse and wait till the end to bring it on. So, hopefully I'll have an opportunity to learn from that a little bit and stay behind them for some laps and maybe put a move on them right at the end. So,
the question I also have pertaining to whether all of you want to answer it or not, which is the hot topic of last week as far as being able to run champ in a full season. And all three of you are fortunate enough to be able to do it for a full season because we've got Andrew Carlson coming back the weekend, I believe so, and then RJ said he's coming for ERX, Fall Crandon, and J Oklahoma. Just kind of why do you think it's just so tough to do that, and why are you guys capable of being able to run a full season, I guess?
So for me, it's my partnerships with United Rentals and Maxxis. Extremely difficult for me because I have a full-time job. I will literally fly home Monday and work Monday morning. So it's very difficult for me to run champ and be up here, but I've done it my whole life, and it's just something, part of my life I'm not willing to give up. It doesn't mean that I can do it. It just means I just make it happen. There's a lot of 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning nights, and I get on a plane at 5, fly back to Atlanta, and go to work. But I have a business to run there, and it allows me to have good people like Cody Ladowski and Pat Haas to, work on my stuff while I'm down there. So it's very difficult for me, and certainly weekends like last weekend where we flip the truck and we break stuff, on my flight home, I'm like, what am I doing? I could be at the beach right now, but that's not what I want. I love being here. I love the people. I love hanging out with people. I had a good time at Anago. Me and Cole were just hanging out, signing autographs for a couple hours. It's just and that's what I want out of my life. So I just make it happen. It's not easy though. It's very difficult. A lot of hours and a lot of money. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Luckily, I'm fortunate enough to have Steve, Speed Sports with, we got the Air Force, Yokohama, Ames Oil backed, and, they stepped up the plate last year and, kind of got me when I was on my way out. I didn't know how much longer I was going to race Pro4 for. I kind of got into it. My first year was, I kind of got, roped into it a year prior, and it was supposed to be like a full ride by, this company, and they had some, over that year, they had some falling out in the company, and they told me before the year I wasn't going to be able to race. They weren't going to be able to fund a Pro4, and we were supposed to have CJ's truck. And I'd already drove it once, and already had drove a Pro4, and you drive a Pro4, you're like, I need to drive a Pro4. There was nothing in the world like driving a Pro4. So, I made some phone calls and, ended up calling some sponsors and some guys I know from, racing side-by-sides and stuff. And, they were all about it. Action Offroad, was the first guy I called. And he's like, I'll fund you a little bit. And then, thankfully, Scotty Lawrence from Rival Motorsports was able to, front me some money to buy the truck. And, it's kind of been a roller coaster since then. But, like I said, the last couple of years with Ames Oil and the Air Force and Steve, it's been great. Allows me to, have, good guys working on the truck, and, we got a great team, and, hopefully this year we can keep the truck together. And we had some issues last year with, some truck stuff, but could have been the fuse in between the seat and steering wheel. But we get that figured out, and hopefully finish races this year. That's the plan this year. We just want to finish races, and as long as you're on the track, we'll learn from that, and continue to get faster.
It's tough running a full season. You look at guys like RJ, they were sponsored by Nas, Rockstar, had some of the biggest corporate sponsors, and he's not out here running full season. So that shows, truthfully, the guys that are running a full season, the work that we're all putting in to be able to do this. It's not easy. Pro4 is probably the most technical truck you could possibly ever work on. Anything that will break. And we figured that out this last year. So I'm super stoked. Like, we'll have Baja Vita Snacks, Yokohama Tires pick me up after getting let go from last year's deal. Bill Stein, Supreme, like all the boys have been with me for years, from the Pro-Lites jumping up to this. It's not easy, and it's not cheap. So it shows the effort that truthfully we all put in. It's not easy to do what we do, but we're there. Trust me. Do I want to be in the shop till 3 o'clock in the morning, bending a motor or a gearbox in? Sometimes no, but I wouldn't trade it for the world, because golly, Pro4 is hands down the coolest thing you can ever drive.
Yeah, we definitely ain't doing it for the money, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Same. So
It's funny because it's true.
what are your guys' thoughts then on the change then to the medium track for the weekend? I guess same kind of question kind of had for Pro2s.
It's cool, to see Cliff change such a historic track, then see trying to make changes, even though we took away Cowboy Corner, high speed turn 1, which is cool. We still get to do that off the start. I'm glad to see changes in the sport. Truthfully, it's what we need. We need a lot of hype, and short track racing is kind of cool. It bangs doors. It brings everybody closer. And what I've experienced in the classes that I've raced, the back straightaway always separates a lot of the top 3 guys from, say, 4th, 5th, or 6th. So where the top 3 guys can still have a mistake but still be in the top 3, because that straightaway really shows who's got their stuff together and who doesn't. Luckily, we were able to be one of those ones to be up there, but it's for sure going to be game-changing. And I'm excited for the change. So kudos to Cliff and moving his dirt. I know it's precious. So good job, boys.
Sacred ground.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be fun, especially in the side-by-side. I was glad to see something added, because, the side-by-side track was definitely, didn't have much, here. So, I mean, it was, good racing for what it was, but, definitely needed a change for the side-by-side track. So, super pumped to get out there and race the side-by-side on it. I think the trucks are going to be awesome too, like he was saying, took out a little bit of technical stuff from the big, long, fast corner, but, I think it's going to make it a little safer too. We're not going into that turn, at 100 mile an hour. I know we all saw Johnny a couple years ago. So, I think they did it for, a safety aspect too. Plus, it's a change in the sport, and I think it's going to be awesome to, no one knows that setup for that corner. So, this track's been raced for, I don't know, how long, 50 some years, and I don't know if it's been changed, but if it hasn't been much. So, everybody's got their notes and, everything, how their setup works on, the track the way it was before. So, it's going to be awesome kind of, with a little change thrown in there, seeing how everybody's setup changes and, how the track comes in. Oh, we're going to be flat-footed. We just ain't going to be turning.
Yeah, and it is really true. Like, if you have horsepower and you have a high-dollar motor, that straightaway exposes it. And it exposes the people that may not have that, even though most of us now, the field we have now, everybody's pretty equal on motor. But the ability to flat-foot it in turn 1 is seconds. It's a solid second. I had a lap last year where we were sitting 3rd. The next lap I held it. Probably wouldn't do it the 3rd lap, but I held it to the floor and we were on pole. It's that effective, just that one turn. So it does mean a lot, but it's one turn to affect the track that much. I actually went and walked the new section. I don't think a lot of people realize we're not just coming around the backside of the stands and coming onto the track. It's actually a jump. So we're jumping into turn 1, and there's a big blue wall right there. So I see a lot of potential for people to kind of, see fire or see red for a minute, maybe do some dumb stuff. I think it's going to be pretty cool because if you're at the wrong angle, you're jumping at the wall. If you're at the right angle, you could gain big time. But it will slow things down. It'll slow things down on the front straightaway. I think it'll be a little better show coming down in front of the fans because we are jumping out of the track. And if you're in the lead and you kind of jump and let the truck drift out a little bit and another guy has a straighter shot where he's not lifting when he lands, it could really change a race pretty quick. So it's kind of technical, kind of cool. Kind of takes some of the motor out of it and the high-speed stuff out of the track, but I think it's still going to be really fun and really racy. So,
yeah. Just then, last question then. Do you guys think the Pro4 is going to win the Cup race?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got the advantage this weekend.
And there's less Pro2s. I mean, like,
we got to work a little less. The 50th anniversary was rowdy in Pro4. That was a lot of Pro2s to go through.
We just need to make sure we all have trucks by the time we get there.
Yeah. So I don't need to stall it.
I literally, like, 2 years ago, I came over the radio and I swore I passed like 50 cars. And I was like, hey, what place am I in? He's like, 14th. I'm like, are we laughing people?
I know Ryan Beat remembers that one. I got him pretty good in the last corner of the last lap for the podium finish. Yeah, I asked the truck owner, Troy. He's like, hey, you gonna let Troy drive your truck like that? Or let Cole drive your truck like that? He was like, I told him to drive that thing. I had the rental car policy wide open, bud.
All right. Well, if no one has any questions, then thank you guys so much for.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.